All right, guys, so let's look at this foldable now. And this is the last one for section 4.1. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this like a book, where this page here that's showing is the front cover. So as you open that front cover, you'll have two more smaller pages, which will be this page and this page that's on the inside. So that's how we'll fold that. It's not too hard. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. So we're going to talk in here mainly about vectors. And vectors, you can translate things using vectors. So that's why vectors are important. You see vectors a lot in physics class. But anyways, so the diagram shown is a vector. So what it means is this here, guys, it's hard as heck to draw a straight line with this tablet. From P to Q, that is vector PQ. Okay, so notice one end has an arrow and one end doesn't. Okay, so the starting point is the one without the arrow, and we call that the initial point. So the initial point, or the starting point of the vector, is P. Okay, so this point here at the end of the arrow is called the terminal point. Now don't confuse this with a ray, because ray, this arrow means it goes forever in this direction. So it's up here, up here, up here, and it's keep going on and on and on. Vectors, it actually stops at the tip of this arrow. That arrow is just showing you which one is the starting point and which is the ending point. Okay, so it actually terminates right here at point Q. So we call this the terminal point. Okay, now the vector is named PQ. Okay, and notice this has to be our initial point, and this has to be our terminal point in that order. So if you put vector QP, that is not this vector. That would be a wrong statement. All right, so if we look at this here is horizontal. This here, up and down, is vertical. So keep that in mind. All right, so the blank component is 5. So this is moving horizontally 5 units. So we'd call it the horizontal component is 5. And the vertical component, which is this, up and down is vertical, is 3 units. So the vertical component is 3. So the component form, we put the horizontal and vertical components together. Okay, and we would write this in this notation. So, you know, points would be like 1, 2 or whatever with these parentheses. These vectors are in like pointed parentheses. I don't know what the name of them are. I'm going to say pointed parentheses. And the horizontal component is always first, and the vertical component is always second. So this is 5 is the horizontal component, 3 is the vertical component. So the component form of this vector is 5, 3. All right, so let's look at example 1. It says name the vector and write its component form. So you should be able to name the vector. So our starting point is B and the ending or the terminal point is K. So we would call it vector BK. Okay, and if I look here, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, and 1, 2 up from B to K. I'm going 5 left and 2 up. Now, when I put this in component form, this tells me left or right and how many. Okay, if it's going left, it's a negative number. If it's going right, it's a positive number. Okay, this tells me here if I'm going up or down. Okay, and if it's a negative number, it's going down. If it's a positive number, it's going up. Okay, so when I'm saying I'm going left 5, well, left and right goes here, and I'm going left, so it's a negative, so -5. And then I'm going up 2, so up is positive, so this would just be 2. So the component form would just be -5, 2. And don't forget to put these pointy parentheses with it. All right, go ahead and plot this triangle using these 3 points. So do that real quick, and then we'll worry about the vector. All right, so when you plot this triangle, it should look something like this. All right, now we're going to translate it using this vector. Okay, so once again, vectors cause translations. So the component form is 5, -1. So let's break this down. This 5 tells us to do what? This 5 tells us to go right 5, and the -1 tells us to do what? The -1 tells us to go down 1. So for each of these points, we're going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 1. So this is my A prime. Okay, so my B, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right, down 1. Sorry, not that point. This is my B prime. And my C, I'm going right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. This is my C prime. So this is my translated triangle using this vector. All right, so let's look at example 3. And it just wants to know what the horizontal and vertical change of the vector with components -7, 12 is. Okay, so basically it's asking, do you know what this number means? And do you know what this number means? Okay, so remember the first number is if we're going left or right. Second number is if we're going up or down. Okay, so if this is negative, we're going left. If it's positive, we're going right. If this is negative, we're going down. If it's positive, we're going up. So we have a -7 first. So that would tell us we're going left 7. And then a positive 12 next. So we're going up 12. And that would be our answer. All right, so if we look at example 4, it says rewrite the vector's component form as a transformation rule. Okay, so we want to write it as a rule, which is what we did in the last video. Okay, so we still have to read this. Okay, this 8, -6 tells us we're going right 8, and this tells us we're going down 6. Okay, now we want to write this in a rule. Okay, so remember rules are x comma y goes to x plus or minus something comma y plus or minus something. Okay, so the first one is our x, so that'd be this way and this way. Well, here it says we're going right 8. Okay, so if we're going right 8, it'd be x plus 8. And the y tells us, are we going up or down? Well, here it's -6, so we're going down 6, so this would just be -6. So basically what I just said was that this rule right here is the same translation as it is using that vector. So same thing, just 2 different ways of writing it. All right, now this is the last example for this foldable, and I want you to go ahead and try to do this on your own. So it's the same that we just did for example 4, except this time we're going the other way. So we're starting with a rule and we want to go to component form. Now I want you to remember here, if there's nothing with this, this is the same as saying x comma y goes to x minus 3 comma. This y is by itself, so think of that as a y plus 0. Okay, so use that and write it in component form. So all you have to do is fill in this number and this number. All right, so this number here, this rule tells us we're moving left 3, so we're going to put that there. This rule tells us we're not moving up or down, so just being -3, 0 would be your answer there.